I was trying to run away from, where I was trying to pretend I was okay. I was trying to numb down. I was trying to, maybe just have a coffee chat if I felt something, or go out, have a party, talk to a friend, all those things that we do just to numb down, to escape away from the pain because we don't really know how to handle. And now suddenly this was so big, there was no escaping I could do. Because when you come back into the house, it's stuffed with all the things, with all the memories. And I never had that chance of holding her alive. So I had to give birth to her. It was a stillbirth. And it was a surreal experience, what happened during those days. But that is when I really started exploring other things, because I was like, well, I have to connect with her, first of all, because I wanted to understand what was the deeper purpose. Why did she come? Why did she go? I also wanted to really say that I'm sorry. I wanted to tell her that I love her. I felt very guilty that I lost her as a mom. Like, which mom does that? So I really wanted to have that connection with her. And this is what led me to the path of energy healing and tapping into Akashic Records. But here's the thing. When I connected with her, and my question obviously was like, why did you come? And then why did you not come into my life? And she's like, well, I had to wake you up. So I had a soul contract with her
That
that
is so
if I was
sweet.
wasting my life, she would come and she would wake me up. And she tried. She tried in all the other ways. She was telling me that, hey, you're feeling disconnected. Hey, you're not happy. And I wasn't ready then to be able to fully wake up.
Welcome to Your Wordless Podcast, the space where we redefine success, self-worth, and transformation. I am Nick Nieras, the soul-centered architect of transformation, helping you unlock your highest potential and build a legacy beyond limits. Now, whether it is self-mastery, career breakthroughs, or wealth creation, this is where change begins. Now let's dive in. Are you stuck in a job that you don't love, feeling like you're meant for more? It is not in your head, it is in your soul. I am Nick Nieras, and I help high achievers like you break free from burnout, rewire self-doubt, and build a life aligned with purpose through coaching, hypnotherapy, and soul activation. Because let's face it, real wealth isn't just about money. It is about aligned and happy heart, mind, and soul. Now, remember, you are worthy and you are enough. Let's transform your life together. Visit www.thenicknierasholisticlifestyle.com to begin.
Thanks a lot for having me here.
Okay, first off, I'd like to start this right off the bat. What was it like growing up as a Kanika Vasudeva?
So Kanika Vasudeva is actually the name. So the last name is from my ex. And I just kept that because, well, my son recognizes that name. But I'll tell you what it was like growing up with Kanika and then now, and then a little bit of that journey. So my name, Kanika, actually means the small part of something big. Like it comes from kan, a small atom, very small part. And so that's what Kanika is. And growing up, that name was like, what the,
That name. That
now
name.
I think I like it too. And it really resonates with your podcast as well. Because in my egoistic self, I used to think like, what do you think? I'm a small part. Like, who names their kids like that? And I never told my parents this, but I never liked my name. And I think with all the work that I'm doing, I also realized that for me, it was a long time to just fully welcome myself and come here on earth. But as I've done my work, I've realized that the name suits me so well because it is the small part of something big. And in that sense, all of us are like that as well. We are all the small parts, like we're the ones who create the ripples, and then the ripples spread out. So I'm more loving my name now, and I have more grown into it now, into that purpose. I think initially in my childhood years, it was a lot with ego or with the outside measurement. How do I look on the outside? And whereas now the journey is more being, okay, how am I feeling and how do I feel to
Okay, what is your backstory? Share with us, please, if you.
Yeah. Okay. Let's, because I also left another part hanging, which was around my last name. So, and this ties in with my growing up, that ties in with me doing what I do today as well. So, after I divorced, technically you give, you take another name. Like, this is what happens in my culture. And this is what I thought of at the time. It wasn't as much that I had to take someone like my dad's name or so on. But what I was wondering was, well, Kanika, why can't I just be my name? I had to take either my dad's name, I had to take a husband's name. Like, you see, I had to borrow someone else's name to have that identity
Right.
myself. And I think I'm still somewhere in that middle picture. Right now, I've kept Vasudeva because I like the name. I like the meaning of the name. It's associated with Lord Krishna. I like that till I figure the next thing out. But I think it's more that process of transition, which is what a lot of my journey has been about. So growing up, I was in a very traditional family, and traditional at the same time, very loving, very open as best as they could to the ideas that I got for them. Like my parents, we come from a traditional family in the sense like things are very defined, certain things, how they're done, how marriage is done, and, things that girls do and so on. Like it's really defined. My parents, to their credit, they wanted to raise a very empowered child. So they gave me the best education and then came out all the best questions, all the best things like, hey, why don't we push this boundary? And fine, now you've done this, but I also want this boundary and this boundary to be pushed. So I think
Mm,
that's this journey of me finding myself. So mid 30s, I was in this place where I'd gotten married. And it was again finding myself in another family, also not just relationship wise, but also I think finding my footing as a mom. So my son was born and life changes after a kid. My son was about 2 at the time, and I was still trying to understand who I was. Because as a mom, your child, especially as a little kid, they own you.
yeah,
Like going to the toilet, taking a shower, like those things you realize the value
exactly.
because there's
Exactly.
someone who loves you so much and wants you so much. And you're like, well, what about me? So mid 30s was that. And that time I was pregnant with my daughter as well. And I was trying to understand, how do I make myself happy? Like, what have I lost in this life plot? Like everybody grows up, you do certain education, work. I sort of followed those paths. Then you get up, you get married, like did those things. And then there's this part of me in the mid 30s, which is going like, well, wait a minute, what went wrong? Because I'm not happy here.
Mm-hmm.
My pregnancy was the hardest, not medically, but internally, it was very, very hard for me because I was talking through this with myself every day. I was very depressed. I would be waking up crying. And then one day I woke up and I had not felt any movement at night. And that was the realization when I went to the doctor that I'd lost my daughter.
I'm so sorry.
So that, in a sense, feels like it's terrible. And it is. As a physical experience, it's terrible. What happened with me then was all these things that I was trying to run away from, where I was trying to pretend I was okay. I was trying to numb down. I was trying to, maybe just have a coffee chat if I felt something, or go out, have a party, talk to a friend, all those things that we do just to numb down, to escape away from the pain because we don't really know how to handle. And now suddenly this was so big, there was no escaping I could do. Because when you come back into the house, it's stuffed with all the things, with all the memories. And I never had that chance of holding her alive.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to give birth to her. It was a stillbirth. And it was a surreal experience, what happened during those days. But that is when I really started exploring other things because I was like, well, I have to connect with her, first of all, because I wanted to understand what was the deeper purpose. Why did she come? Why did she go? I also wanted to really say that I'm sorry. I wanted to tell her that I love her. I felt very guilty that I lost her as a mom. Like, which mom does that, you know? So I really wanted to have that connection with her. And this is what led me to the path of energy healing and tapping into Akashic Records. But here's the thing, when I connected with her, and my question obviously was like, why did you come? And then why did you not come into my life? And she's like, well, I had to wake you up. So I had a soul contract with her
That
that
is so
if I was
true.
wasting my life, she would
Mm.
come and she would wake me up. And she tried. She tried in all the other ways. You know, she was telling me that, hey, you're feeling disconnected. Hey, you're not happy. And I wasn't ready then to be able to fully wake up.
Hi, I'm Nick Nieras, your host of the Your Worthless podcast. Now, if these real raw stories hit home, don't wait. Please follow, like, and subscribe my Spotify and YouTube. For bite-sized inspirational reels, follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and LinkedIn. Don't wait. Your transformation starts today. Thank you, and bye for now.
You know, it seemed okay. Like I could talk to a friend and things would go away, or I would cry. Like it wasn't going away, but still I wasn't ready. And so she had to do something that was really drastic for me to start understanding that I'm not just me in the body. Like this body is worthless, but it's us as a soul that matters. And that connection, that is what she came to teach me. And so that's what I'd like to leave all the audience with as well, that wherever you feel like you're really getting stuck or pushed back or something that's really hard, maybe just question, there might be a possibility that that is the area where light wants to enter your space.
I just want to acknowledge the work that you have done and the bravery and the courage it must have taken you to actually let that light push its way open, or else you wouldn't you wouldn't wake up, right? I think we take these things for granted. Oftentimes, I feel the universe comes to our lives. I mean, they're always there, but we're too preoccupied with the 3D things. And we chase after these things, not knowing that our purpose here was to actually remember our soul and why we chose to come here in the first place. I believe that we actually chose to come back, and we've written a certain specific things that we're going to experience. But okay, I also believe, I don't know, I don't know, this came up to me a couple of times. I said, oh, maybe where I am or whatever challenges that I face, I put myself to this. I said, I mean, you're strong enough, right? Then go ahead and do it. Go perform your time here on earth, and then come back and tell us what were the lessons that you learned. In any way, it's just a short amount of time, you know. We don't know when, but average right now lifespan is what, 80, 90, 100 maybe. But that's different to in comparison to your soul, because your soul is eternal. We're just in our human body. I want to talk to you, Kanika. I just want you to pour your knowledge. I guess, what do you mean by soul contracts in your experience, or the work that you do on people? Why do they come up here in this lifetime, and what are they trying to teach us? Maybe take an example.
Yeah, so soul contracts, actually, funnily enough, I just recorded a podcast on that yesterday. It'll come out today.
Awesome.
Which was because I was, again, tuning into the group and generally asking, like, my listeners, what is it that they would want to know about. So soul contracts are the contracts or mutual agreements that you would have with other souls before you incarnate. Because, like you said, so as a soul, when we come to earth, we want to learn some things. There's some expansion, and it's a little bit different in the body. How we feel, we learn what is expansion for us, what is good for us feeling in the body. And it's a little bit different to how the soul thinks about it. You know, in the body, sometimes there's the ego thing that comes in. We'll think in terms of the grades, the certificates, the achievements, the material success. And then we think sometimes in terms of the milestones. There might be like, you need to be having a relationship by this age, the person needs to be doing this and this. Like, there's just like that. intangible or those markers which somehow say that you're doing okay or not okay, right? That's the body markers. That's how we are supposed to feel good. Technically, like if you're on those right paths, you will do well. But having been there, done that, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be happy.
Yes.
And I think I can speak on behalf of a lot of my clients and my followers that I speak with as well. The soul thinks about things in a very different way. The soul's not experiencing the pain like we do. So why soul is doing a lot of different things is it wants to have a really holistic understanding. Let's say love. It wants to understand, well, what is it to be loved by your parents? What is it to be having a really loving family? And then what is it to not have that? What happens? What happens if you get deceived in a certain way? Then it wants to expand that a little bit more, and it wants to think of that more at a community level, more at a country level. Like, what if on social media you get rejected? What if on social media or otherwise you have like a really raving following? Soul is just trying to understand a lot more. In the body, there might be like one thing that we are attached to. When I say one thing, it's almost like one state. Like you want to have a relationship, and it's because this is also the thing. We think that that is the only achievable state and that is the only happy state. So let's say a relationship, I mentioned that. Almost everyone is going to say, yes, I want to have a fulfilling relationship where I feel seen, valued, heard, right?
Mm-hmm.
For the soul, if you got that, if you learned that lesson, it's not that it does not want you to expand. It actually wants you to expand. But then it wants you to expand at another level. And that's why it does this whole full circle as well. Because to be seen, valued, heard from another person, you first need to see, value, hear yourself. And you also want to pass that on to the other person. So you need to have that empathy, that understanding. And that's why you go through the lack to be able to experience the lack and go like, that didn't feel good to me. So I should probably not do that to someone else.
Oh, okay. An example of the lack, please, if you
A
can.
lot of lacks. Like, for example, you would have a lack where maybe the partner cheated on you. And that's because you want to experience that deprivation. You want to experience what that happens, what that does inside you, so that when you have a choice to make, as a soul, you've evolved and you are coming from that higher vibrational space and not acting out of just those immediate, I would say, attractions or distractions. You're still able to honor the love, the honesty within your relationship, or at least you're able to have a good chat about it. Very open, very honest, very authentic, very vulnerable. That's why you experience that lag, so that you're able to evolve into a more whole being. So that's what the soul is trying to do. Now, the other thing that the soul is trying to do is we think that's the limit, right? We think like having the perfect relationship, limit, like epitome of everything. The soul goes, no. Like when you've done that, soul goes, like that's one bit. Like you've done that with, let's say, your partner. Let's try doing it in the family circle. Let's try doing it in the community. Let's try doing it at a much bigger level. But you see what the soul's wanting to do? It's actually wanting to expand, go more and more and more. And it's wanting you to have a lot more love, a lot more light, a lot more abundance. So soul contracts, when we make them, those mutual agreements in the beginning, they are more so that we all grow, we all evolve for those agreements. And it might be something like, you and I chat to each other and maybe we said, well, we'll see each other one day and we'll have a conversation. Maybe that was that. Maybe in the sacred relationships, especially our key relationships, like with our kids, with our parents, with our partners, they are much more deeper. And we tell them that there are few things that I want to learn. We tell them that we want to learn about the lack. We tell them that we want to learn about this good thing.
In my mind, I was already going through every relationship that I have right now. My family members, in my previous relationships. And it is so evident. I mean, I started the journey within after my divorce in 19 and still am on because we're forever healing. But in hindsight, I needed to be met with that loss of relationship, because I think one part of it, not everything. I used to tie my self-worth to the achievements that I can attain. And if I attain them, meaning I am worthy of love or of something. Now, with my ex-partner, then I remember saying this to myself: Lord, if the next partner comes by, I will take him as my husband. And then, sure enough, a person came along, but there were red flags. My soul were saying that maybe no, but then I really took it upon myself and say, okay, I'm gonna heed to your advice, and I did. So now I chose that path. This is how I turned out. Had I not chosen that path, I would also be betraying myself, I think. But at the same time, looking at it right now, there is no wrong path, because all my soul was ever trying to do was to expand. Had I not gone on that path, I wouldn't. Right, I've expanded myself to this level. I mean, I'm even talking to people about this. Never in a million years. I know that somehow I would want to speak on stages, but the steps, I didn't know how it was going to turn out. But with this, it's like the steps, the way unfolds before me. And it's like I called them, but not in the way that I expected them to be. Because I think humans are creatures of, we like control. We like to know the outcome. And that's, I think, the egoistic part of the egoistic self talking. You want to know the outcome. And I trained that because I used to be an accountant. Right now, I am a coach myself, a hypnotherapist. And so I've moved to human psyche, and I love it. And to have me in this space with among my friends who I think probably right now are thinking that, oh, Nick's kind of crazy because she jumped into something that she has not um dove in before, but it's something eccentric. It's like myself is trying to be heard, trying to be valued, it's trying to be seen, and I don't know any other way how to do it. This felt right to me. But I don't know. Maybe next year, Kanika, it would be different. I'll be doing a different thing, but I don't think so.
And everything that you do, like that is the divine path. That is what's unfolding for you. So you have free will on the planet. Everybody does. And we'll all just go with our speed, whatever we want to do, and so on. So there are things that your soul's always going to be there. It's always going to tell you, like, look, this is what we should do, and this is the next step. And it's a natural process. We don't understand how precise their process is. I think it's
And we
unfathomable
think they're
for us.
slacking.
Yes.
And I think they're slacking because, hey, I prayed for this, like, but why isn't it coming yet? Like, what's
Yeah.
wrong?
Yes. Yes. But they are just so precise all the time. It's a mathematical thing. It's like, where are you vibrating? What is it you're getting? It's going to be just an exact match all the time. So whatever we have inside, whatever we need to heal, we just automatically going to bring up those experiences. For all my relationships, if I look at them and go like, well, this one broke down and this one broke down, and I can convince you right now with the faults in all those people and tell you they were all wrong and I was right, and you will definitely believe me. But here's the thing. There's one common person in all those relationships.
That's you. You're right. You're right.
So
You're right.
there's got to be something in me. Now, what I see as an energy coach is that we have connections. They're not our fault. They're just something that we have. Like, we're all energetic beings. We all have connections. We all have imprints, like just the way anything would have a shape or something. Like, that's just a basic form of existence. And sometimes there's something dark in there. There's something that's way past time in there that's bringing the experiences that we're having right now. It's not a fault. It's not a judgment. But if you want to change that, just change the operating system. Like, what are you operating out of?
So say, I think are we going into manifestation right now?
What do you want to talk about? It's your podcast.
Everything. Like, I think you can sort of tell, like, I have so many questions, like question mark here. But okay. Obviously, I think I'm gonna have to have you on for another one. But today we're gonna talk. Well, let's touch on manifesting. Why? What is? I know manifesting is manifesting, yes, but the core of it and why? How does it? How do we materialize it into the 3D?
So, one, we're all manifesting all the time, consciously, unconsciously, we don't know it, but you're manifesting all the time. And I hate to say this, but all the things that are happening around you, whether you're happy with them or unhappy with them, they are our manifestations because there's something in us that is vibrating at that level. And that's why you're bringing all those outside experiences to your reality. There is an inner flow of energy, then there's an outer flow of energy. And your inner flow is always matching what you're getting outside. So if you feel there like, okay, but I want to manifest the good things. Let's say I want to manifest my job, I want to manifest my next partner, whatever those things are, see where are you lacking? What are your beliefs there? What are your fears there? Because often, a lot of times, what I'll notice is people are working on their mindsets, like they've done enough research. If they're thinking about manifesting, they're aware of the mindset thing and they're saying affirmations a lot of times and so on. But your body is like the gatekeeper. So, your body meaning like your physical body, your emotional body, your spiritual body, or your energetic body, they all need to be in sync and they all need to be ready that, oh, this thing is coming in. Let's say if you want to manifest a job that pays you really well, or you're wanting to manifest $1 million, but you're running a program from your past life where you got killed because you had a lot of money, your money got taken away from you. If you're running from that program, you're like, well, I can't have a lot of wealth because that means me dying. And the body wants to live. So the body's like, we're just keeping money away, let's live.
Whoa, that was a very straight and kind of dark example. Like, I'm so compelled. So, okay. Akashic, are we tapping into Akashic Records now?
If you want to.
Not yet.
But everything,
Yeah.
if I talk about the Akashic Records, so whether, I'm really tapping into them or whether anyone is not aware, they're all still tapping into the Akashic Records because the Akashic Records is like the overall library that holds information about everything. So if someone's thinking, well, I got information from the guides, or I got this intuitive hit, or I channeled something, they're all in their senses tapping into the Akashic Records. Now, the channel might not be as clear. There might be some interferences in between, but whenever we are having those dreams, those ideas, consciously, unconsciously, we're all tapping into the Akashic Records.
So, how do you intentionally tap into that?
That would take a little bit longer to do and explain than over a podcast. But
Okay.
I would say, start with clearing your channel, the inner flow. And so let me break that down, right? Inner flow, what is your internal energy? So we all know about the physical energy or the physical body. What am I feeling? If I have some aches and pains, and usually that's a good way to understand whether you're in a flow, the energy is really flowing very well or not. So, look, we all have energy flowing through us all the time. The idea is to just have that flowing, like flowing water. That's really good. The moment it stagnates, that's when you start feeling something. So, the tip I can give you there is like if you're feeling any body ache somewhere or whatever strange sensation you're feeling in your body, don't ignore it. Your body is trying to talk to you all the time and it's telling you something's happening there. So tune into your body and ask when you can be meditative or when you have a clear space of mind. Then ask, like, why is this really happening? And ask your thoughts, what's happening? So that's the way to clear your physical body. Then, and the biggest one for humans tends to be the emotional body, so which is the emotions that we are all carrying. Emotions are the hurt that I felt because of someone else, stuff that I was not able to say. And a lot of times, those emotions, we just trap them in. Like the other person, we don't want to hurt them, so we don't share them. And we feel we will be met with a lot more maybe anger or whatever those things are going to be. So we just shove those emotions down and we try and put a band-aid on top and pretend as if everything is okay. This is where dumping in comes in. This is the primary reason why when people are feeling unhappy, the hardest thing for them to do is like sit down, be alone at home. They'll actually do everything to be very busy, to go out, to meet their friends, to go out for a movie. This is the number one reason why it's so hard to sit down and meditate, just be quiet, because that's when the emotions start coming up. Like all this stuff that you had packed away, the minute you look in, you go like, oh, I have grief here. Now I was feeling sad about this and I was feeling ashamed about that. Like there's just all of this. But it's not doing that to bother you. It's not doing that to make your life miserable. All your bodies are trying to help you evolve to the next level. What they're just saying is, hey, see us. And then we want to go. We want to leave your space. So now you can create more space to bring fun into your life. So if you could just sit with that and you could go like, okay, I see it. Or the example that I give to people, if you want to try that exercise, is just think of a container in front of you and think of the biggest emotion that you have right now. Maybe sadness, maybe confusion, maybe guilt, whatever is coming up for you. Just imagine like you've got a mug or a container a mug with which you're filling that container up. So pour in some grief. And if there's a lot more, then just pour in more grief. It doesn't matter where this grief is coming from. It could come from person A, it could come from a situation in your childhood. But just imagine pouring in that grief. And now pour in a lot more sadness into it. Pour in all the other emotions that are coming up for you. And then when you've got that container, you can just spill it away from you, away from your space. And that's very simple. That's how you can empty or clean your emotional body of the heaviness that it feels. So the other thing when you were talking about manifestation is,
Yes, I want to come back to that.
but it's all linked. Unless you have space for it, where are the new vibrations going to come in? So if you haven't cleaned out your emotions, you haven't cleaned out your physical body and the other bodies that I'm going to talk about, if you haven't cleaned those out, how is it going to land in? It doesn't have space. So the next body that we have then is the mental body. So there's this logical part that talks to us. Sometimes at some level, yes, you want to manifest, but then there's this logical head that goes up like, what do you mean? And this cannot happen, and so on. So all those things. And that logical part has also done its bit where it's looked out for you. The reasonings made you safe. So there's a process of then just talking to yourself logically, mentally, explaining that as well. So looking at your experiences where in the past you might have had something because we carry those imprints, and then working through those and talking to those inner parts in you. And then generally would be the etheric body after this, or the energetic body. So that is your aura, that's your layers and so on. And cleaning that space, this is your aura, this is your energetic space. This is where, when I look at it, I see the wiring, the programming, the operating system that we all have. Like I typically see the energetic body as a hologram, and the hologram then shows whether the body is a lot more in light or a lot more in the dark. Dark would mean a lot more control that we are operating out of, either controlling or getting controlled. So that's a quick synopsis.
You're smiling. It's like you kind of know something that I don't know.
Oh, I think I
I
usually
feel,
smile.
but I love it. I love it. I love your smile. I had this question. What is the most profound experience that you or experience or case that you helped with a client before that really left a mark on you?
There's so many. There's so many. I think it's hard to pick a. Well, the first thing is that when I help my clients, I am usually channeling. So I'll just work with the guidance that's coming in. And for me, it's bigger than me, as in there's a higher purpose. There is some that I'm aware of, and then there's a lot that I'm not aware of. So I just let that higher self come in and speak through me. So because of that, like I'll remember things that happened, but I also, it's like a movie that I saw. And if I see them, if it has to come back to me, that memory will flash back and I'll remember that, okay, this is what I looked at. But a lot of times, I think because it's a bigger, higher purpose, so that's where it just goes back, that things clear up. But there's so many examples. Perhaps I'll give like maybe a few that people could relate to. There was this lady who came because she had a lot of repeated problems. She had fungal infections, then she would get off that. She would get bacterial infections, and she was trying to understand why was all of this happening on repeat. Like she was just not being able to get off antibiotics. So when I tuned into her and I looked at her, I saw that she had a past lifetime where it was in the 1800s. She was supposed to give birth to the heir of the family. He was a son, very healthy in her. So I'm seeing her in the delivery room. And when she is trying to deliver the baby, there's a man with them who's trying to handle the process, the doctor, then the 3 more female people in there. And she's trying to put the baby out. At that point in time, science wasn't as evolved. So they were not really able to understand that she was losing a lot of blood. And she was really depending on them as if they knew all the things to do. In the process, she lost the baby. He was supposed to be the heir of the family, supposed to keep the name alive, and they were a royal family. So it was really a big deal. That, but also just losing a really healthy baby, like nothing happened. So what the soul was trying to teach her then in that lifetime was that she needed to take more agency of her own body, and she needed to tune into her body even when others are telling her this is what you do and so on. She needed to still work with her body and trust her own body herself. And so in this lifetime, it was repeating out again, because as she was going to all the doctors, and I'm not saying don't go to doctors and so on, the advice was that also tune into your body. What is your body trying to work through? Like, why do you have a physical condition that you have? Yes, go to the doctors, find out, get all the tests done, everything. But also tune in, ask your body, because what is it? Why do you have that disease? Why do you not have the ease? Why do you not have the flow? Then another example I can give you is there's this man that I helped, and he was fighting a custody battle with his daughter. So he was sharing equal custody for his daughter with his daughter's mom. And one time, what happened was that the daughter was with him. She was 6 years old and she fell down. And you kind of don't expect a 6-year-old to fall down. So he was standing next to her, but didn't put her hand there or anything, because you just don't expect the 6-year-old to fall down. You expect like they'll work and so on, like they'll find their way. Well, she fell down and she had a concussion because she hit her head. They had to take her to the hospital and she was okay. It turned out it was fine. But the mom saw this as this opportunity to file a legal case, because she was like, you can't look after our daughter. And she was actually filing that, okay, from now on, I'm going to have full custody. And if you want to see her as well, you'll need to come to my place and then, drop her there, pick her there, be with her in the house. And you're not going to have time with her. That's what she was fighting for. So he came to me because this was what was going on, and he'd received this full legal letter. So when I started working with him, I first looked at him and just his energy, because we all are really attracting the stuff outside that's happening to us. Somewhere there's something in us, there's a wiring, there's stuff that's going on that hasn't been cleaned or healed enough. And one of the things that I found with him was this warrior archetype. So warrior is, he had a previous lifetime where he was this victorious person, always winning all the wars, like really brave warrior. If there was any problem or any area that they could not conquer, he was one of those warriors who would be called to lead and actually to fight and go ahead. And he enjoyed that glory. Now, in this lifetime, of course, he can't fight like that, but there is that part in him that's still living. And so it wants to still feel that glory. And glory is best when glory is huge. Like if there's a big chant and then you get glorious, right? Like if you have a small win, it's not good enough. It has
That's impactful.
Yeah. So that's why in his life, and this was not just a theme with his daughter, it was also generally the theme with his life, that things had to be dramatic because the warrior archetype in him needed that
I get
spike.
you.
It needed to
I-
feel like, okay, now I've done well. So yes, in the body, you're feeling terrible, like why are all these things happening to me, and why is the car breaking down, or why did my fence break down now, and today I had to solve this problem, and then another day something else. But if you're constantly firefighting, there's a little bit of a warrior going on in you.
And that was satisfying the part of his soul that was based on his past lifetime.
Yes.
Mm.
So I healed that warrior archetype. Then I looked at his energy with his daughter, heal that as well. And then I had the mum come up and see that space. And this was interesting as well, because when we looked at the mum, and as the mum was looking at both of them, the connection is spirit to spirit. So it's different from a body level connection. A body level connection can have ego. A spirit to spirit connection is like you just see things as they are, the truth. And so this is where she's understanding, okay, my daughter also likes the dad and she likes spending time with him and it's good for her, those things. And it was also stripping her away from the ego in the physical life, because in the physical life, especially people who are going through custody battles or who are doing divorce arrangements and so on, they'll relate to this. That if your child comes back and goes like, well, now I like dad so much, or dad got me this, mom got me this, there's a certain comparison, and then there's a certain inherent invalidation that we feel like somehow I'm a lesser parent. So it takes a lot of evolution and growth to go like, that's okay, actually feel really good about it. And so this is what she was feeling, where she was noticing that her daughter was actually spending a lot of time with dad and she was feeling a little less as a mom. So what do? You take more control, because that will sort of even out the whole thing.
Yes.
Egoistically speaking. But when we looked at her energetically, because that is a spirit to spirit connection, she could really see that. She could see what would serve her child. And that really eased her, gave her a healing as well. Because whatever we do in our lives, we're actually doing it out of a wounded pattern. Just because somebody else is saying something to you, they're actually doing it because they're operating out of that lack. This is what they're feeling. But if you give them unconditional love and light, when they get filled, that is all they have inside. Like if you squeezed an orange, right? You will get orange juice out of it. There's just nothing else. If you fill the person up with just love and light, eventually there's going to be a place where they just have that. Especially try that with yourself, not always sure about other people, because you can do whatever you like. They also have their own free will.
Oh my God. Okay, 51 minutes and we haven't even talked about parenting, coach. So that's I think that's another episode I'd like to have you on. Kanika,
Thank
if
you.
that's fine with you.
But I'll just wrap this up quickly, just to sum it up, like what happened then. So this was a session that we finished. And then after that, he went off next day, dropped his daughter after school and spoke with mom. And she's like, well, I think maybe I went a step too far. This probably will not work best for our daughter. So I'll just hold this for now and we'll just see. We'll just continue our arrangement as we've kept it for so long. So it was such a good thing and so great in the sense that there was no conversation physically that you needed to do with mom. Nobody else was about. And it was so quick, which is the magic about energy healing.
Oh my God. I'm so compelled, Kanika. Can you read into me for a show?
I think this was one of those things that I said earlier. I do that, but I always like to leave with the empowerment bit, and it just does not do justice. to, to read and then to not let heal. But I think what we can do is we can definitely look at the group. We can see what is it that the group needs, and I can suggest what is it that they would benefit most from.
I think a feeling of lack.
And you're tuning in really well. So the feeling of lack, like it's all the things, amazing things that we're talking about, unconditional love and light. And then there are lots of people who are going like, what do you mean? Like, here I am. My world does not seem to have love or light or abundance. Like, I don't get you.
Exactly.
So let me give you this explanation around internal flow. Everything has energy. Everywhere energy is flowing. And as humans, a lot of us, as we've evolved, we've forgotten how to really connect and how to let that inherent flow happen. If you look at your electrical appliances, a toaster, could be the fridge, any electrical appliance, they all have earthing wires. And there's a reason why they get connected to earth. So if they have an excess negative charge, that gets drained out from the earthing wire and goes into the earth. We carry on with our lives. We carry a lot of our hurt. We carry a lot of our lack, and we don't know what to do with it. We have no earthing wire. We walk around. And then if you think of yourself, your energetic space as a container, maybe just imagine a glass, right? And it's getting filled up with all the other emotions, like it's getting filled up with lack, it's getting filled up with judgment about yourself, criticism, and so on. So when that's happening, it's taking away the space in your glass. So the space to feel your happiness, the space to actually create from, the space where you want to manifest, that's actually reducing. It's probably 1/4 the glass or less or more. So as I give this exercise is more about connecting with the earth and allowing the earth to really let go and heal and let go of the space where we are carrying all of these emotions, because inherently it is all abundant. So just do this with me. And if you're driving or if you're doing something that needs you to really concentrate, please wait until this later on. But otherwise, if you're in a safe space, you can just join us here for 5 minutes. So when you're ready, you can just close your eyes and settle down however you want to settle down. You can sit, you can lie down, everything's okay. And then take a nice deep inhale. Just inhaling in the life force of breath and then exhaling out the tension, the stress that you feel. And as you do that, imagine that your legs are getting really long. They're going through the floor, they're going through the rocks, the soil. They're just getting longer and longer and going all the way deeper and deeper into the earth. Maybe they cross some water, maybe they cross some lava, and that's okay. This is all energetic. So it's not that it's impacting your body negatively, but you can just imagine that energetically your legs are extending all the way down and connecting with the center of the earth. Now, the center of the earth is the heart of Mother Earth. She's our mother. She gave birth to all of us. She is holding all of us, looking after all of us every day. So as you connect your feet with her, you can just imagine all your stress pouring out. Now you've got this earthing wire as well. So all the excess negative charge can start flowing out. You could have fun with it as well. You could go, well, I want to let go of stress. I want to let go of anxiety. I don't want my sadness. And maybe there's some people who bother you. And you could just imagine as if you hold them and you just let them go down so that they're not in your space anymore. And Mother Earth is going to just pick up all of these people, all these energies. She purifies them and she returns them back to where they belong. So right now, you can just let go of all the negative charge. So notice there is one side of your channel where you're releasing everything. And then there's the other side of this channel where you're receiving love, endless love from Mother Earth, unconditional love, because she does not judge you for your hair or your job or your body shape. She just loves you. She's just always there. So just imagine that flowing back. So all the way in your body, through your legs, you're releasing the negative charge and you're bringing up this beautiful green emerald light that comes from the earth. You could even place your hands on your heart and just really lock in this energy, like really anchoring in this flow. And this will continue to happen throughout. Even when you open your eyes, it will continue to happen. And if you feel it slows down, you can just close your eyes again. Remember this loop. Remember that this is a natural energy flow. You're just allowing it. You're just allowing yourself to release and receive. Just receive. Let go of the lack, bring in the love. Then take another deep breath, really anchoring in the love. And then when you feel good, you can slowly, gently open your eyes and come back here.
Felt that. I needed that. Thank you, Kanika.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Okay, where can people reach out to you?
I can be found at Kanika Energy Coach, Kanika Kanika Energy Coach, on Instagram, on YouTube, or people can find me on my website as well, which is artoflifecenter.com. And for soul contracts, I have a freebie there that is at artoflifecenters.com/parent. And this freebie is about your soul contracts and parenting. So why do you have your kids? What's your story with your kids? What is the mutual agreement that you have? And then you also get to bring it back to a vibration that you would like. So if you're operating out of drama or if you're operating out of imbalance of any sort and you want to bring that back, bring more harmony, bring it to natural joy, then you can just do that with this freebie.
Kanika, before we wrap this interview up, any last message for our listeners?
I think we already tuned into it. And yeah, let me look at it again if there's something else. It's just general reassurance that your sense of lack and wherever you feel that life's not working out for you, the consciousness is encouraging that you perhaps just reconsider that. In the sense that maybe life is working out for you. Maybe what is happening is actually for your benefit. So perhaps think of what is it that you need to do? Where do you need to grow? Where do you need to evolve? And if you are still not clear about it, ask the universe, put that question out aloud and go like, well, I'm struggling with this situation and I need you to help me, because they'll come in and they'll help you. They'll give you the answers in a way that you can receive them.
Thank you. Wow, that is a wrap on today's inspiring episode with Kanika Vasudeva. Thank you, Kanika, for the work that you do and for continuing to uplift the world around you. Our listeners, this has been Your Worthless. Read that again, the juxtaposition of your very soul. Now, if you've ever felt worthless, remember you are not alone. Your soul chose to be here, to matter. And for that reason alone, you are worthy. A huge thank you to you again, Kanika, and to all of you for listening. Until next time, I am Nick Nieras. Keep shining, keep growing, and always remember you are worthy and you are enough. See you in the next episode. Thank you, Kanika, for your time.
So much.
Love this episode? Now, transformation doesn't end here. Head on to @holistic.lifestyle_with_Nick. That is on my Instagram. Or head on to my website, www.denise.holisticlifestyle.com for more info on my coaching framework, which is the Worthy, Authentic, and Abundant Framework, digital guides, and my upcoming events such as retreats and master classes and workshops. Now, I also do intuitive readings where we get to check on your soul path. And if you're also wanting to check on your energetic alignment, I have done that too. And I offer that kind of services. So, my question to you is, are you ready? Because I am. Let's make the list.
Good afternoon to you, Kanika. How are you doing today?
I'm doing so well. Thank you, Nicolette, for having me on the show.
Thank you for saying yes to be interviewed today and for reaching out. I'd like to introduce myself to you formally and to all of our listeners tuning in for the first time and our returning subscribers. My name is Nicolette. I am the creator for the podcast titled You're Worthless. Read that again, the juxtaposition of your very soul. Now, today we're going to talk about parenting coaching and a dash of Akashic Records reading. And we have here with us Kanika Vasudeva. He is a parenting coach and Akashic Records reader who helps parents heal emotional wounds and clear energetic imprints so they can raise empowered and resilient children. Now, her journey began after the loss of her daughter, a turning point that led her into deep inner work, energy healing, and the Akashic Records. Now, along the way, she uncovered the hidden roots of parenting pain, i.e., ancestral trauma, karmic patterns, and emotional burdens quietly passed down through generations. Today, Kanika supports parents navigating everything from legal disputes and co parenting tension to loss, grief, guilt, and spiritual awakening. I say, wow! That was like music to my ears. Well, welcome to the show, Kanika.